What the going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're going on fire! Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey Jerry. Jerry Don, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 9-3. They go into Cincy. They beat the shit out of the Bengals, just beat the brakes off of them. You finally get an explosive offensive output. They score 44 points. The offense has 500 yards of offense. Russ goes for 400 plus passing yards. It is as good as it's ever been in Pittsburgh this season for the last probably 4 or 5 years, and vibes could not be higher, Jerry Don.
Dude, man. Weird vibes all week leading up to that game, and then I felt like, before the game started, I texted you, and I was like, dude, Kev, I think this could end up being a blowout. I think we could blow them out. You're like, I don't know. We fucking should have blew them out, but
oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just got a weird feeling before game time, like, I don't know. I felt like they were going to have a really big offensive performance, which they did. I thought we would be a little bit better on defense, but listen, I'm not going to complain about a win. There's some things to fix for sure, both sides of the football a little bit. But man, I will tell you what I was so pleased to watch was Roderick Jones in a way stepping up, being a leader, like talking to George Pickens. He had an excellent day.
Yep.
Run blocking, pass blocking, he really did. So it was really nice to see him step up on the offensive side of the ball. Russ, hats off. I mean, dude, what a fucking game he had, man. What a fucking game. I mean, that touchdown to Freiermuth, almost getting sacked twice on that play.
Yes.
Escapes, great ball to him. I thought everybody – listen, that was – as bad as the defense played – that was a team win. It still was a team win because,
100%.
The splash plays on defense. Herbig, TJ Watt, the pick from Jackson. I mean, all around, what a really, really impressive win on the road, against a team were playing for their season. Essentially, they were playing for their season that game.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most prolific offenses in football, obviously. And, Russell Wilson outperformed Joe Burrow.
And that is the story of the day for me, Jerry, because we have long said, can the Pittsburgh Steelers come out on the road, win a real shootout? I mean, where it's back and forth. You get punched in the mouth, you punch them in the mouth, back and forth, up and down the field. You're going to have to continue to get in the end zone. You can't be settling for 3. Are they capable of doing it? Can they do it with these weapons on offense? Does Russ still have it? They go out there, Jerry, and they march up and down the field. And while it looks like the defense did have a tough day, if you really break it down, the pick 6 to start the game could have broken the Steelers. Okay, it could have. You're playing an offense that is going to put up points all day long. You're playing an elite offense to go down the field. It looked like they were marching early, and then the bullshit pick 6 because George Pickens gets his helmet damn near fucking ripped off from the ear hole. No call. They could have rolled over and died right there, Jerry, and teams in the past would have. What do? They come right back down the field. Russ leads them for a touchdown the next time they get the ball. So the defense, it looks like they gave up 7 points. You can take that off of the 38, I think it was, that the Bengals had. From about the 10-minute mark and on in that fourth quarter, the Steelers played prevent defense. Okay, so they played shell, keep everything in front of you, don't get beat deep, and they let the Bengals rack up kind of garbage time stats, if we're being honest about it. The game was pretty much out
Joey
of hand.
Porter had a lot to do with that too, though. Joey Porter had a lot to do with that. I think he had his worst game of his career. He really did.
Yep.
He's a very grabby corner, man. He likes to hold a lot. There was even that play in the end zone. Joe Burrow, threw it out of bounds, and he's tackling the guy. Like, what are you doing? That was one of the lower points of that game, I would say.
Yep.
In terms of it, I think he had a really, really bad day. But like Tomlin said in his press conference, like, we expect him to be physical. We're going to work on some things, but we're not going to complain. We got the win. We're not going to complain. We're not going to cry over spilt milk. It is what it is, and that's it. But other than that, Kevin, I will say that, and your point as well, like, to come right back from that initial pick 6, great. but they were coming back all game. It
Yep.
was back and forth that first half nonstop. So they had an answer to everything throughout the whole entire game, which was very impressive.
Foot on the gas, Jerry, the entire time. They played the way you know you're going to have to play. They came out passing. They came out passing pretty much right out of the gates, early downs. I just finished, before we recorded, I just finished rewatching the game. So you remember last week when we talked about, I went back, I logged every first down snap that the Steelers ran against the Browns, and then also against the Commanders and the Ravens. And when you combine those three games, the Steelers ran on first down about 70% of the time, okay? Yesterday, the Steelers, 32 first down plays were called. They passed 18 times and they rushed 14 times. They passed more on early downs.
Yes.
They ran less, a lot more balance, unpredictable, way less predictability, which helps the run game find lanes. What they did that was, I thought, genius. While they were throwing on first down, it's not like they were throwing deep on first down. It wasn't all Russ Moon balls. You saw them taking nice little dump offs to Najee Harris right out of the backfield. Jerry, how long have you been asking to see Najee Harris catch the ball?
We've been asking it for weeks. I mean, they finally did it. They finally gave him the ball in open space. That's all you got to do. Get him the ball. He showed his rookie year he can catch passes. And they exposed that middle part of the defense, man, with those little dump offs for 10, 15, 20 yards. I mean, kept these drives alive. And, we're getting first downs on first down. We're getting first downs on second down. It wasn't always 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 8. They were getting the first downs early, which benefited them a lot. And also, the red zone efficiency was very, very good. They worked on that. Tomlin harped on that last week. They fixed that problem.
And so that's another one of those things. We said they're going to have to see them. We're going to have to see the Steelers finish drives. You're going to play a team. And we said this specifically, this scenario. I mean, I don't want to suck our own dicks, Jerry, but we got to give ourselves a little respect here because for weeks we've made claims and, people, especially on Instagram or Twitter, they're like, oh, you guys don't know ball, couple of idiots. Okay, let's name some things that we actually got right going into this game. We called to let Russ take the reins off. Let Russ throw.
Yes.
Let Russ throw on early downs. We called for that. They did that. Okay. We called to throw the ball to Najee Harris. Throw Najee the ball in space, screens, get him the ball out in space. They do that. We called to move TJ Watt around, Jerry. And they moved TJ Watt all over the entire field yesterday. He was coming up the middle. He came from the right side, the left side. And what did he have? He had his best game maybe of the season. Okay. Yeah. So all of these things we've asked for, you saw all of those come to fruition yesterday against the Bengals. And you can't say that they all didn't benefit the Steelers in a big way.
Oh, 100%. I mean, those were pretty much the deciding factors of that game, essentially. Also, hats off. I mean, Art Smith called the game of the year so far. I mean, he called the game of the year, man. That guy had stuff drawn up that they just couldn't see coming and exposed every weakness that defense had. Every single weakness they had, he exposed it, and the play calling was phenomenal. I was a little weird about that Justin Fields coming in at the end, but he got it done. Thank God. I was nervous because I didn't want them to get the ball back, So
how do they bite on that fake, though? How do they bite on that fake?
Crazy. I mean, the Steelers essentially they run 3 plays out of that. They either run it up the middle with the running back, Fields keeps it and runs, or they throw a fly route. So those are the 3 plays we've seen the Steelers run since Justin Fields has been, coming in on offense. So teams are going to start to pick up on that, later in the year. So they got to figure out some different plays if they want to use Justin Fields.
That's fine because Fields said after the game, he said, I was actually kind of shocked that they let me, nobody crashed on me, given that that's the play that we run whenever I'm in there. That's kind of the only play that we run when I'm in there is what he said in his post-game interview. So that's great because you know what that means? Teams are going to start to key in specifically on him keeping the ball. He's going to read that man crashing off the edge. If he stays with him, that ball's going to go to Jalen Warren or Najee Harris, or whoever the back is, and they're going to have a little bit of space to try and make it for you. Just keep them guessing. You just got to keep them guessing. And Arthur Smith did that so well yesterday. I mean, after his worst game, honestly, against the Browns the week prior, from a play calling standpoint, he had his best play calling game yesterday against the Bengals. And you know what that means, Sherry? That just goes to show that the guy knows. He sees his mistakes. He knows how to fix them, correct them, and then be better the following week. Matt Canada could never.
No. Never in a million years Matt Canada could have done that. Also, I feel like Tomlin trusts him. I feel like Tomlin trusts him a lot, and he has the reins over this offense. And man, if the Steelers can play football like that, man, if they can score in bunches like that, I feel like that defense is good enough, to realize their mistakes, what went wrong, and fix it. And if they get back to being that, top tier defense that we know that they can be, they are a scary out. That's a team. I guarantee you, people are saying we don't want to see the Bills and we don't want to see the Steelers in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, Jerry, look at this. This is another one of those ways the Steelers can beat you. This is okay. So they have 9 wins. The Steelers are 9-3. The defense has definitely won them at least 1 or 2 games in the early stretch of the season. No doubt about it. You've had the run game dominate and win you games. They can win a shootout. They can win a low scoring game where they don't even score a touchdown like they did against the Ravens. They can win with the special teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers can beat you anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. Now yesterday proves, look, this team can win a shootout. I mean, a real shootout, not like what we had against the Commanders. I'm talking.
Yeah, no, this was a shootout.
A real one. Because ultimately, I know you agree with this. If you really want to win a Super Bowl, you have to be able to at least win one of those games in the playoffs. Because your great quarterbacks, your Mahomes, your Josh Allen's, Burrow's not going to be in there, but I would say he's a top 2 quarterback. He might be the best quarterback in football right now behind Josh Allen. I think Pat Mahomes is just having a little bit of a down year from a statistical standpoint. So you could put Burrow up there. For the Steelers to prove that they can outduel a gun like that is massive. That is why what you're saying, teams don't want to face the Steelers come January. Well, yeah, how would you want to face them? Well, they gave up the points to the Bengals. They also had 3 takeaways, a pile of fucking sacks. They made timely plays when they had to. They got off the field when they had to get off the field. That team, Jerry, this team is really going to be a force, an absolute force in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. And I'll tell you what, Cam Hayward plays like that, man. It's tough to win, man. Tough to win. He was all over the football field.
Unreal.
I mean, that defense, man. I know they put up a lot of points, but dude, like you said, late in the game, they're playing defense, but they're just playing not to get beat deep. You know?
Right.
So I take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? I don't, look much into that, but. I mean, Cam Hayward with the deflections, the tackles for loss. I mean, just being around the football, the sack. Yeah, I mean, dude, he had an amazing game at his age, man. Dude, I'm going to finally say it. I think they could win a Super Bowl this year. I really do.
Let's go, Jerry Dodd.
Really
I believe it. I believe it, brother. Yesterday, finally, that's a long drive home from Cincinnati for me. And I'm thinking over and over, I'm like, relax, Kevin, relax. It's a bad Bengals team. It's a bad Bengals team. And then I'm like, it's not a bad Bengals team. It's a great Bengals offense. It's a shitty Bengals defense. However,
yeah, listen, it's a shitty defense, Kev, but like we seen the guy on Twitter tagged us in the tweet.
Shout him out. Pit commenter, a dude from Twitter, sent Jerry, read the stat.
I don't have the stat. I think it's 6 games in a row the Bengals allowed less than 300 yards.
300 passing yards.
Passing. And, which, listen, that's not great, but you know what I mean? It's still like the Steelers put up 400.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a big difference there to go from 280, whatever the case may be, average in those last 6 games to fucking 400. That's a big jump. It really is. So as bad as people want to say the Bengals are, which they are not a good football team. They're fucking 4-8. They're not going to make the playoffs. But hey, they could. That's a team, Kevin, that can be in a game with almost any team in the NFL.
And they have been. So that's the thing. Yeah, They have 8 losses. Like, don't get it twisted. They have a bunch of losses. But it's not because they're not in the game. It's because their defense can't stop shit. And so that's why I'm coming home. I'm like, they did it. Like, they proved, you know what, Jerry, let's be honest about it. We were worried as shit. Can they compete with the Joe Burrow offense? Can they put up the buckets they're going to have to put up? I was thinking maybe 27-24 they could win the game. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought Russell Wilson would have the second best game of his career yesterday from a passing standpoint. Second best game of his career. We have to tell anybody who talks shit about Russell Wilson, you are a complete idiot. This guy is playing at a very high level, Jerry. I'm talking like top 7 quarterback, maybe top 5 quarterback in football right now for what Russell Wilson is doing. And if the Steelers are going to get top 5 to top 7 quarterback play out of Russell Wilson, you're absolutely fucking right. They can win a Super Bowl.
Oh, Kevin, I mean, 1,000,000%. I mean, he's not just – the thing about Russ, is, which is great, is the Steelers were missing that since Ben. They were missing that veteran presence that is locked in the moment that could finally fucking read a defense,
Yep,
dude.
at the
You see how
line,
many
right at
checks
the
he
line.
has at the line of scrimmage?
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible to watch, you know. And obviously, like, we know football, but you know, we don't really know football to that extent with like what goes through their mind and stuff like that. And I would love to do a podcast with Art Smith because I would love for him to break down what exactly Russ is calling, what he sees, and stuff like that. I would love to have a podcast where we can talk to Art about these things, but you know, his ability to read a defense, to know what they're doing, to find the weak points in that defense and to expose it, you know, and one thing about Russ yesterday, he was calm, man. He was calm. He was flustered on maybe one or two plays, but that was it. That was it.
He's always calm, and I think that's a very big thing. So all the people that make fun of him and clown him, and absolutely, I'm guilty of clowning Russell Wilson when he wasn't in black and gold. Don't get it twisted. I thought the dude was corny as shit like we all did. But he's our quarterback now, so I would fucking go to war for him. And you have to realize, that guy's one of those people that is a cerebral winner. He knows how to win the game with his mind. And so I heard Najee say after the game, he said the game plan was to run a lot. It's just Russell would get to the line of scrimmage, realize that they could check into a pass play that he and Art had planned that you could have the ability to check into, and he saw what the Bengals were giving him, and we checked into those plays. That's where you win, Jerry. That's what we said when they drafted Kenny Pickett. Is he going to be smart enough to read a defense? Because a lot of these guys have arm talent, and they have, good legs, and they can scramble all over the field. But when push comes to shove, can you read a defense? And yesterday, Russell Wilson proved to us in a very, very, very elite way that this guy can not only read the defense, he can make every fucking throw on the football field, and he's going to keep the Steelers in a shootout. He's beat Patrick Mahomes last year in Kansas City. He's beat Josh Allen last year. This guy is going to be an absolute problem with this Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. I wouldn't argue that at all. And, I think we have an advantage, too, going into an AFC playoff this year with, like, the experience, man. The experience with Russ. And, yeah, Josh Allen has been there a couple times now, and Lamar's been there a couple times now, and Mahomes has been there a couple times now. But, it's teams like, that we might have to face, like a Bo Nix and the Broncos team.
Yep.
That Bo Nix has not been there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not saying you can chalk that up to a win if we play them. I'm not going to guarantee that. But we have the advantage there. I feel like we have the advantage against a Chargers team who we've already beat.
Right.
Granted, with a banged up Herbert, but Russ is the difference maker there. He really is. So you're going to have Russ with so much experience that has been in these spots, that has played championship football, late in the season. So. I'll take those odds all day, man.
Jerry,
there's really
one guy. There's one guy other than Patrick Mahomes in the AFC that's in the playoff picture right now that's won a Super Bowl, and it's Russell Wilson.
Yes.
You can't that is something you can't discredit. Winning a Super Bowl, these guys just don't fucking grow on trees here. That type of experience leading up to it through the playoffs, the preparation, the focus, everything it's going to require, Russell Wilson has that in his bag. And so that's why, when we first signed him, I'm like, fucking A, we got a good quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback. How much does he have left? Oh, Jerry, he's got football left. I think he's the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback this year, and I would pay him. I would give him a nice deal, maybe 3 years, and let's fucking ride this thing out, because what we got out of Russell Wilson yesterday and what it has been building to be, that's his 6th start, maybe his 7th start since.
Yeah, I think he's 5-1.
So yeah, 6th start. Okay, so when we're criticizing him early, we said he missed this play, he didn't see this guy open, he missed this play, etc. Yesterday, he wasn't missing plays, and I'll bring it back to Van Jefferson, 3rd and 4, late in the game, breaks their hearts. Yeah. That ball, what a laser beam, dude. In stride, in fucking stride, 3-step drop, bang, hits the guy on the inside seam. See you later. Van Jefferson pretty much seals the game. That is elite quarterback play at the line of scrimmage, knowing that if that guy is going to give me outside coverage, I'm hitting Van Jefferson on the inside of this seam, and it's going to the fucking house. If Van Jefferson was even remotely fast, if that's Calvin Austin in there, I think that's a 6, no doubt about it.
Gone. But yeah, credit to Van too. Obviously, one of those guys, he doesn't get the ball much, but stepped up in a big moment, man, to make that play and catch and the yak afterwards. Credit to him, man. It's a guy who's not really involved much offensively, but stepped up in a big way. And another thing, man, what do you think they're doing with Mike Williams? I mean,
this guy never gets on the field. Yeah,
I know. I don't get it, dude. Like, I don't know.
Calvin
Listen,
Austin goes
gonna...
out. Calvin Austin goes out. I think we're going to see some Mike Williams. Did you see though? He put an Instagram story up yesterday. And it's him and Pat. After Pat scores a touchdown, their celebration is to like hit whatever you want to call it. They're hitting it and passing it. Like that's the touchdown celebration. And Mike Williams, his Instagram story is basically a photo of them doing that. He's like, fuck it, we winning. Like, so, I mean, I love that attitude though. I love that. I think ultimately he's going to get his, like he's eventually going to get in there. He will get some shine. But you also can't discredit the fact that maybe he's getting a little bit less looks because Calvin Austin is coming on in a big way. We wondered, can Calvin Austin build on what he had early in the season? You know, some of the success he's had. Is he more than just a gimmicky kind of guy? That little fucker can play some football, Jerry. Yeah. We got to really start. I saw some Tyler Lockett comparisons. It's starting to look like Russ has his little Tyler Lockett.
Oh, for sure. And listen, don't listen. After this, whether this season ends up we win a Super Bowl or we lose first round in the playoffs, they're getting another receiver next year, no doubt about it. They're drafting one early or they're going to get one in free agency.
Why do you say that, Jerry? You don't think that they're going to pay George Pickens?
No, I think they will end up paying George. But I think that you just don't. If Roman Wilson was on the field and healthy and contributing, I don't think they think twice. I don't know if they draft a receiver early or get one in free agency. But it's just the unknown. That part is just the unknown. You don't really know what you have. I think they're going to draft one or get one in free agency, relatively quick. So that's my take there on that. But dude, Russell Wilson has time left in this league. I think he's proved that through 6 games. He's not washed whatsoever.
No.
I mean, whatsoever. He is not washed.
He's not washed. He's still, when I say top 5, top 7, I could make that argument. He is still right fucking up there with the way that he's playing football.
Yeah, and you know what this proves also, and I know last year was a little weird with all the injuries and whatnot, but I think this proves for the last couple of years the Steelers could have been a quarterback away from winning some really meaningful games late in the year.
I know, man. Isn't that fucking horrifying? But also to see the offense go as crazy as it's gone. Russ goes for 3 touchdowns. He goes. The guy has, I think, 10 touchdowns in his start so far, which is the most touchdowns in a season for a Steelers quarterback since Ben retired. Which, if the number is 10, that is embarrassing. That just goes to show how trying times were in the post-Ben era. To get Russ, man, I am so fucking grateful and thankful for him. I have a little bit of concern with George Pickens, Jerry. The talent is so special, but this guy can't get out of his own way sometimes, man. And I don't want to beat it up because they won the game, but what if they don't win the game? What if his taunting penalties, he drops the ball, and I get it, I think it's a pussy-ass call, but it is still taunting. You can't just drop the ball on the defender. You can't do the gun. And again, I think that's so fucking stupid. He can say it was a first down, but most first downs, you're not cocking and dropping it. Okay, so you just know you can't do that shit. George Pickens just needs to realize he has a target on his back. It's the same with Joey Porter Jr., in my opinion. These guys, officials look at them. They know Joey Porter is grabby. You can't be grabby. You're going to have to cut that shit out. George Pickens, we know that you're going to be a little push-off. We know that you're going to do some extracurricular shit. We know that you like to talk shit, stir up the opposing teams. All of that stuff, officials know by now. They know who George Pickens is. You have to realize that. I think he is insanely fucking good. He just has got to fix that shit, dude. Like, if that would cost us a game, Jerry, I wouldn't come back from it then. I don't know how you can come back from it if it costs us a game. Like, you know it now, brother. You're in year fucking 3 in your career. Cut the shit.
The thing is this, like, I think James Harrison said it perfectly on the Ben Roethlisberger podcast when I was watching some clips earlier today. James Harrison said it perfect. He said, George, if you're going to celebrate, go celebrate with your own team. The defense already knows what you did. They can still hear you. They can still see you. Go celebrate. You're not going to get in trouble celebrating with your own team.
Right.
No more guns. You know what I mean? Go celebrate. You can talk all the shit you want to anybody on your team. But, you can't get in a guy's face. You can't drop a ball on him. You can't do the guns. So Georgie Guns got to stop, man, because it's going to get us in a lot of trouble. And teams are going to, be begging for those penalties. The teams are gonna try to get in Georgia's head nonstop.
That's exactly it. Now he's starting to put a target on his back where it's like every team's defenders know, like, look, we can probably get one out of this guy if we just push enough buttons. We talk enough shit. Like, I hate to use this term, but like mental midget. That's something you and I discuss, but like, it's starting to worry me a little bit. Like, come on, man, you got to cut that shit out. You just have to. Like, it's now these next 5 games. This is crunch time. You really want to win the division? It is roll up your sleeves and let's fucking work. And
what do they have? 2.5 game lead now?
So with the Ravens losing to the Eagles yesterday, and let's take a moment and pour one out for Justin Tucker's career, because it looks like it is done, Jerry. That fucking guy has fallen off a cliff. I could not. I hate that little shitbird, and to see him suck yet again yesterday, it made the drive home from Cincinnati all the sweeter.
He was horrible. I mean, he was horrible yesterday.
Yep. So the Steelers are up. The Ravens are 7-5, I believe it is. The Steelers are 9-3.
8-5, no?
Or 8-5, yes, 8-5. The Steelers are 9-3. If we go into Pittsburgh, the Browns come to town. If we beat them Sunday, the Steelers will have a 2-game lead. That is really big. 2-game lead with them left on the docket. They have a fairly light schedule the rest of the way. I think if the Steelers can get to 10-3, and then, if they can win 2 of their last 4, I think they win the division. Especially, you beat the Ravens again, it's over. I think you beat the Ravens in Baltimore, which is going to be a tall task because their backs are at that point going to be against the wall. I think the division is cooked, and that is what the focus has got to be. It is division only. It is Sunday, belts to asses against the Cleveland Browns. Motherfuckers, you talked all that shit. You ran your mouths. They have to, Jerry, I want to blow them out of the water on Sunday. Leave no doubt I want to destroy them.
Yeah, I may or may not have done this, but maybe I reached out to somebody that's involved with the team, and just sent out a little message, and then they said, "We know, trust me, we know what time it is Sunday."
Is this a player or a coach?
I can't confirm or deny that.
Oh, Jerry!
But trust me, they know. They know what time it is.
They want it, Jerry. They want it.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, big time. I mean, listen. Bengals season is pretty much done. I think it's finished now. It's done. It's finished now. Browns are finished. The Steelers have one problem in front of them for the division. That's only the Ravens, and we already have a game up on them. We have the better record. So I think they got to take care of business. Listen, you take care of business against the Browns. After that game, they got the Eagles.
And then Christmas Day, the Chiefs. And then last game of the season, Bengals. I would run the assumption that the Bengals.
And then Ravens.
So Ravens is after they play the Eagles, before they play the Chiefs.
Okay, gotcha. So we have
it goes Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals.
Gotcha.
And likely the Bengals won't play Joe Burrow that final week of the season, I'm guessing. Like, there's just they're out. Why would you risk him against the Steelers defense?
True. They could be trying to play a little spoiler, though, for a better seed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But you really want to risk Joe Burrow. Just let that wrist heal, buddy. TJ about chopped his arm off yesterday on that strip sack. Let that little wrist heal, my friend. We don't need you out there.
They're in a pretty weird spot with cap space as well.
Oh, yeah, they're in trouble. T. Higgins is gone. And, Jerry, that would be a guy like you said.
I think he could be a Steeler.
I think Mike Tomlin.
The way Tomlin talked about him,
yes.
I feel like he could be a Steeler.
Dude, I think Mike Tomlin, he leaks these subtle little. Tomlin doesn't gas up a ton of guys. Okay, no. What's he called T. Higgins yesterday? A goon. He goes, that guy's just a goon. I think he wants T. Higgins, and he's posturing to land T. Higgins in the offseason. Imagine T. Higgins, George Pickens, Russie cooking like he's cooking. That offense then has some elite weapons, and I would love to see it. And Jerry, another guy who's up and coming. Is Nick Herbig ever going to play a game again without forcing a fumble, Jerry?
I know. It's crazy. He's good, man.
He's so good.
I mean, what did I tell you? I golfed with TJ. The one thing that TJ told me was, dude, he's next, man. He's next up. He's different, dude. I know he's a small guy, but he's different. He's just like, I don't know. He's just like quirky. His moves and his
so
body control.
Twitchy.
Yeah, dude. He's so fast too. So fast. that little ghost move he had the other day was
strip
incredible.
Sack. That forced the strip sack that Peyton Wilson takes to the house. And it started to Orlando Brown is the left tackle for the Bengals. That motherfucker must have false started when it wasn't called maybe 10 times in that game.
Oh my God, just every play too, and they don't fucking call, which is crazy, dude.
But he has to do it just to catch up to the speed of Nick Herbig.
Yeah.
Like if they were calling it the way it was, that guy's a step into his pass block set and before the ball is even snapped, and Nick Herbig is still beating him. And I really do think you're gonna get Alex Highsmith back this week. And so finally we got the full rotation back healthy.
Yeah.
Nick Herbig, Jerry, how many times are we gonna get the yes sir between TJ and Nick Herbig? They lead
Incredible.
the league in strip sacks.
I think they're 1 and 2, right?
They are. They're 1 and 2 in forced fumbles. We have dominant players. So yes, again, it comes back to did the defense give up points and yards and all sorts of shit yesterday? Absolutely. But they made timely plays. Elite quarterbacks are going to get theirs. It's just about, can the defense make one more play? Can they get the takeaways when they have to? Can they buckle down and get it done when you have to? And they got it done yesterday. And that's why it's like, yeah, I'm not going to harp on the defense giving up all of those points, because everybody gives up points to the Bengals. The Chargers have the number 1 defense in football. They gave up a fuckload of points to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Everybody gets scored on by that offense. But it's just, do they make enough plays? And they made enough plays. And you have Peyton Wilson coming on strong. For me, it's just like, if Minkah Fitzpatrick can just figure out what the fuck is going on out there and start making a couple plays, we're not harping on him. But where has he been?
Yeah, it's a. I don't know what to believe really, because you have half of the web saying, he's doing a great job with the big plays, and then the other half is like, well, he hasn't got a fucking pick. He hasn't yet to have a forced fumble. He's not really, doing much. It's like, listen, when I watch football on TV, I watch the defense, and I'm usually tuned in to TJ Watt.
Right.
And the screen doesn't really allow you to see Minkah Fitzpatrick,
Right.
Because he's back there and whatnot. So, listen, there's been a couple games this year. He had a big not game saving, but touchdown saving tackle twice in the Ravens game. So that was big.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, there's been times where I'm watching the game this year and I'm like, fuck, man, just make a splash play. Yeah, he has it in him. It's all you don't have it in him.
Right.
Our teams like not really going his way as much as they say they aren't? I don't know.
Right. And so that's what you say it. Who do you believe? Because I'm not going back and fucking watching all 22 film. I've said this many times. That's just not my thing. Like, I'll log the snaps and I'll
watch it a couple times a year, but that's it.
When I rewatch the game, I'm looking for different things. What plays did they run? Like, I'll log all that shit. I'm not going back and specifically watching, did the offense not throw to Minkah Fitzpatrick? Like, that's not my thing. And there are a lot of video guys who do say that, yeah, teams are looking away from Minkah. But yet when I watch the game, I don't see him making plays. There are no splash plays in Minkah's game right now. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I actually think that that's a very good thing, because it has been so long that just the law of averages says that eventually Minkah's going to make a splash play.
Yeah, and maybe it's in a big game in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I'm fine waiting.
Exactly. 5 games left in the regular season. I'm good with, if he does it in any of these next 5 games, I'll be fucking thrilled. And so he has it in him.
Yeah, Kev, when you look at the schedules now and you see where we're at, do you see a path to a 2 seed, or you think we're going to end up with like a 3 or 4?
I think 3 seed is the most realistic.
Like 3 seed.
I want to say that they have a chance to take the 2 seed. The 1 seed, the fucking Chiefs, man. I actually cannot wait to play them on Christmas Day. I really can't. Early in the year, I was so afraid of them. Now it's like, I cannot fucking wait to play you, because they get, how many lucky calls do they get at the ends of games where every play goes their way? Ravens week 1, Isaiah Likely, they should lose the game on the last play of the game, but Isaiah Likely's foot is out of bounds. They get a call against the Bengals, a bullshit call. They win the game there. They barely
Broncos game.
Yeah, exactly. Barely skate by the Broncos, the Panthers, the Raiders twice. Like,
Panthers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're just, everyone's like, oh, they're a much better team. They're 11-1. Last year they were 11-6 or whatever the fuck it was. If you watch that same Chiefs team and you tell me that they are better than last year,
no way. You're
full of shit.
You know what their big problem is, and this is good for other teams in the AFC, is, listen, you could fix a couple things in the NFL. One thing you really can't fix is offensive line. Yep. You can't just fix that in a blink.
Right.
Like, that takes time, chemistry, takes an off season, acquiring different guys.
Talent.
talent. Their offensive line is not good.
No, it's
I mean,
terrible.
it is not good.
That's why they have
You
nearly
could
no
see
run
it.
game.
Yeah, you could see it, man. You could really see it. Have they been good for a couple of games this year? Sure, but they've been bad more than they have been good.
Jerry.
So that's not a thing you could just fix overnight and your problems go away. That's a thing that's gonna come to bite you in the ass late in the year.
You want to hear something interesting? This is crazy that I'm going to read this to you. The Steelers average more points per game, give up less points per game than the Chiefs, are way better in the turnover department. The Steelers and the Bills are the top two teams in football when it comes to the turnover
I've
department.
seen that. Plus 15, plus 16, right?
Plus 15, plus 17. Bills are plus 17. Steelers are plus 15. That's 1 and 2 in football. The Steelers, by almost every metric, points per game, yards per game, defensive points given up per game, defensive yards given up per game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs in all of those categories. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I think the Steelers are better than the Chiefs, but I'm not saying it either. Like, that's where I'm at with it. I don't have as much worry or concern playing against Kansas City Chiefs as I may have. The Bills, I think, are a team that you're gonna have to beat in the playoffs. I think
that's the toughest out for us.
Chiefs take the 1 seed in my opinion. However, if we beat them, maybe the Bills can jump them, take the 1 seed. However, I think one way or another, the Steelers are going to either have to go to Kansas City if they want to make it to the Super Bowl and beat them, or go to Buffalo, maybe even have to go to both and beat them. I think 3 seed is the most realistic, which I would be fine with. 3 seed still means that you're likely, as crazy as this sounds, going to end up playing the Ravens then in the wild card round in Pittsburgh if we win the division, if they take the 3 seed and the Ravens take
Ravens,
the 6.
I feel like it'll be Ravens or Broncos, I feel like.
Yep. And I mean, I'm fine with either of those. We have the Ravens number. Come to town in the playoffs, Lamar. I would love nothing more than to beat Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Broncos, I think, are just skating by, and you don't think Russ wants that in the playoffs? Oh, just to give them the dick, Jerry.
I'd love first round versus the Broncos.
Oh, it'd be so great. Russ, imagine the hype videos Russ is going to put out that week, dude. Oh my God. He'd just be absolutely fucking cooking. I don't know, man. I'm really, really fucking high on that game. I am incredibly high. There are only a few things that I would criticize. Joey Porter, which we hit on, I would criticize that. Mike Tomlin's clock management at the end of the first half. I still don't think that was good clock management. Man.
I mean, yeah, he said he had no interest in calling a play there. That's what he said.
Isn't that insane though? Like in a game like that where it is still a shootout, I guess my mindset is this: you should want to practice putting the ball in the end zone in those moments, because more than likely you're going to have to do that when it's January football. Yeah. You know, you're going to have that killer instinct go for the jugular, and they didn't do it. I get it. They settled for 3 because they got the ball then to start the second half. But if George Pickens doesn't do the gun celebration in that second half, you know, the Steelers ultimately score likely. Yeah. You know, they would be up 13 points at that point early in the third quarter. So I get it. I totally do get it. But man, I really, really fucking thought that he calls a timeout there after the Jaylen Warren catch. There's like 20 seconds left, 14 seconds left, somewhere around there. You're at the 20-yard line. You can take one play at the end zone. Just one play at the end zone. Tell Russ, look, if it's not there, throw it away. We'll kick the field goal. Like, I just don't want to see that shit come back to haunt us because it has in the past. And so that would be one thing that I would harp on. But other than that, that to me is an A+ game across the board. A+ game across the board. I don't really have. We only punted one time.
I agree with that.
We punted one time, dude.
Yeah, one time, one punt.
That's a great performance. That is a great performance. It's a performance that has both of us believing that this team could really make a deep run. One last thing I want to hit on before we move off of it. Pat Freiermuth is really coming on in a big way too. Pat is coming on in a big way with Russ, especially on third down. Russ is really starting to treat him like a security blanket. He had 7 targets yesterday. He had 63 yards, I want to say, 68 yards, 6 catches, 68 yards, and that big touchdown. I mean, that is what we've asked for. That's another thing we asked for. You know, get Pat involved. He has great hands. He's a chain mover. He's a big body. Get him the ball. Yet another tip of the cap to both me and you. We ask for these things. We've got it. Maybe Arthur Smith really does watch the show, Jerry.
He says he does. I don't know.
I mean, shit, if he is, I call Jerry's play. Call Jerry's play, and this place is gonna fucking erupt.
Yeah.
Jerry Dunn, is there anything else you want to add this week? I mean, I am over the moon with fucking excitement.
No, not much. I got a crazy schedule coming up. I'm gone from the 5th to the 10th.
5 to 10. Okay, so that is Friday to the 10th.
I'm traveling to Tampa Bay, Florida. Then from Tampa Bay, I'm going to Louisiana. From Louisiana, I'm going to Tennessee. And from Tennessee, I'm going back to Chicago.
So we will have to record again Wednesday. So you're leaving Thursday the 5th.
Yeah.
What time? You leaving early?
Yeah, 7:30.
Then we're going to have to record Wednesday. Maybe we'll record Wednesday evening or something later in the night. We'll get as much information. Tomlin will have his presser by then. So we'll get out the Browns game. So you won't be back till the 10th. I mean, if you have your phone, though, we can probably get an episode recorded.
Yeah. We'll still record on the phone.
Yeah, we'll still record on the phone. So we'll still get an episode out, recap the Browns game. I mean, like I said, Jerry, it is belts to asses Sunday against the Browns.
Has to be.
It is make a fucking statement. I want blood. I want blood on Sunday against this Browns team.
So do I, dude. I want, and I think they realize what's at stake, and I think they want to make a real statement.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wager heavy this week. And also, if you guys are coming to the game, I finally locked down the big snack. Casey Hampton is the guest for the Terrible Tailgate Sunday for the Browns. Finally, I've been trying to get this guy, Steeler Nation and I, Justin, who runs Steeler Nation, we have been trying to lock down Casey Hampton for a tailgate for so long. He finally committed to this Browns game. It is a phenomenal guest. You guys are all more than welcome to join us. It's going to be a hell of a pregame. And then we are going to give the belts to the asses of the Cleveland Browns Sunday in Pittsburgh. Go to 10-3. Jerry and I will record again with you guys here on Wednesday. Drop it likely Thursday. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciated all of the happy Thanksgiving posts that you guys sent to us. Means the world to us. Like I say it every week. Continue to get the subscribers up. Share the show where you find it. Tell your friends. Jerry Don, is there anything you want to end this week's episode with?
No, man. Ready for the Browns. Ready for Browns week.
Fucking A. Myles Garrett, I think you're going to get a very pissed off TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt is going to have that nasty rage in his eye. He could have 3 sacks.
So too.
He could have 3 sacks on Sunday, Jerry Don.
I hope so.
Fucking A. We appreciate you guys. We will see you here Thursday.
All right. See you then.
Later, Jerry.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.